Our great friends at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming present our Athlete of the Week honors here at Wyopreps.com. And this week's girls winner, Abagail Olson, a rodeo cowgirl who had a fantastic state finals. You won the barrel racing, and I mean, you won the barrel racing clear cut. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I know you also competed in three other events, and ended up placing pretty high in the pole bending as well. So, Abagail, thanks for taking a few minutes to chat with me. How would you kind of describe how state finals went from your perspective?
It went pretty good in some ways. In some ways, it was a little heartfelt, but overall, it was pretty good.
All right, so I talked about how you really dominated barrel racing. You won the first go, the second go, you won the short go, you won the average. So, I mean, that's a clean sweep. How good did it feel? That's a tough event to clean sweep right there.
It felt pretty good. We did it last year in that arena too in the barrels, so it just felt good to be able to do it again.
Was that something that was a key to this year's win? The fact that you had been there with your horse and kind of gone through that, knew what to expect, whether it was the rodeo arena itself or just the atmosphere with your horse and everything?
Oh, my horse, he's phenomenal, and when he gets in an atmosphere like state, he does not back down. He loves it, and it just seems like he runs harder and harder when he has to do good.
Okay. What's the key in barrel racing for you, particularly last week? What worked so well?
My horse, he is kind of a turd, so the harder he is to warm up and the more he's kind of bucking on you and stuff, the better runs he makes. So you just kind of hope that he's kind of a butthead to warm up, and the harder he is, the better he runs.
Okay, all right. Butthead of a horse sometimes. All right. I don't know if I've ever heard it described that way, but congratulations on winning your second state title. What does that kind of mean to you, especially in the barrel racing, going back to back?
It meant really good. There's a lot of tough girls and a lot of tough horses this year, so it meant really, really good to repeat.
Obviously, you did compete in other events. How would you kind of describe how those went for you?
Breakaway is pretty rough. I roped ears both days, so it took me out of the short go. And then in goats, I made a really good run the second day to get me back to the short go. And had a little issues with the ground on my own feet, so that hurt me a little bit, but overall pretty good. And then the first go in poles was really, really good. And then I just didn't ride great the rest of the week.
All right. Well, you still placed pretty high in poles and in goat tying. So obviously, you're going on to the National High School Finals Rodeo next month, back in Rock Springs, same venue. What are you looking forward to the most, particularly since you get to compete in barrel racing and poles?
I'm looking forward to probably the barrels the most. Just had really good success there last year in the barrels, so we're hoping to have good success again this year.
What do you love the most about the sport of rodeo for you, Abagail?
I just love like the support that everybody gives. Like if you need anything, you can ask any parents back there and they'll help you, or just any contestants. Like a lot of times us pro racers, we forget our rubber bands and we're asking other girls and we're like, "Hey, can we steal some bands from you?" And everybody's more than welcome to help.
And obviously, a little bit, I'm guessing, comes from your parents too.
Yes.
So, what was it like kind of growing up around the sport and seeing your parents compete even?
My mom, she was a big competitor throughout high school and college and then ran pro, so it helps a lot. She knows how to handle the ground, and when ground gets a little bit iffy, she knows exactly what to do, so that helps. And then just like the experience with horses and how she knows what to handle and how to handle certain situations and what a horse is doing weird. She helps me a lot with that. But my dad's always back there, and he's normally super calm, so that helps a lot with everything.
All right. So, as I mentioned, you go back to back in the barrel racing. You place in a couple other events, and so this is why Abigail's our athlete of the week. So, what do you do between now and then? National High School Finals Rodeo is not for basically another month. What do you do between now and then?
My bro horse is getting a break for a little bit. He's been going pretty hard for a while throughout the winter and stuff. So we are giving him a few days off just to relax and stuff. But with my goats and my rope, and we're just practicing every day, hitting as many jackpots as we can, and just doing what we can.
All right. Well, Abigail, congratulations on a fantastic week last week in Rock Springs. Thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you.
We continue talking about our Athlete of the Week honors presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming here at Wyopreps.com. David Settle and talking from the Evanston Outlaws with Walker Wilson, kind of a utility guy. Let's see, you pitch, you catch. Basically, I'm guessing you play wherever coach tells you. But
Yeah.
you had quite the weekend on the conference road trip. You guys start 4-0. How big was it, first of all, to get those 4 conference wins out of the way?
Yeah, we started the year off a little slow. Had a few young kids come up and join us, so it was really just experimenting at the start of the year. And then we've been preaching at practice how big these conference games are, just because of last year we lost the tiebreaker going into districts, and that screwed us a little bit. So it was just come in, dominate, and shut them down.
Speaking of dominations, what was it like from your perspective, Walker, to throw a no-hitter?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You always go out there in the bullpen. You're always like, I'm gonna throw a no-hitter today, and it never really happens. But I went out there, did my stuff, trusted the defense behind me to make some plays, and just did my thing.
Well, speaking of that, you threw all 5 innings, 85 pitches to get the no-hitter. What pitches were working well? What did you do to kind of get to accomplish the no-hitter, I guess?
It was just a lot of fastballs, mainly getting that one from the catcher, and then we threw a couple curveballs here and there to throw them off, but it was just mainly the fastball.
Well, it wasn't just that. I mean, a no-hitter's awesome on the mound, but you did it at the plate as well, young man. 12 hits, 11 RBIs, 12 runs scored. I know you walked, I think, 4 times, had a double mixed in there in the 4 games. What worked well for you at the plate?
Yeah, I think I was just seeing the ball pretty good, and at practice we've been also preaching, uh, don't leave don't leave the opportunities. Take the opportunities where you can, and go out there and hit the ball. And if you hit the ball, it'll go your way.
Well, certainly you backed up your pitching. I think in that game alone, you throw the no hitter, but you go 5 for 6 at the plate in a big 26-0 win. How much confidence does that give you personally and the team kind of moving forward? I know you got a big tournament starting this week.
Yeah, I think we're really, really rolling here. We know what we can do now. It's going to take a lot more to go up there into Pocatello, but I think that we know we can do it. So we just got to prove it to ourselves.
You mentioned that coach has brought some young guys in, so it's kind of a mix of some returners and new guys to the A level. Where do you think the team's grown the most here early on in the season, Walker?
I think it's mainly just our defense coming in and locking it down. We've really experimented with secondary positions where kids need to be, and the young kids have stepped up and found their places. And us as older kids are trying to really preach what we know to them to make them a little bit better and to just overall help the team out.
Is that a little strange for you to say us as older kids, including yourself? Is that kind of a different thought process for you now?
It is, yeah. We've been the young team for quite a while now, but it's finally our turn.
All right. Well, hey, thanks so much for the time. Congrats on being our athlete of the week and great job last weekend.
Thank you.